The 7th of August, 2024. Houston, Texas. The heat hangs over the North Freeway like a thick curtain, carrying the familiar scent of gasoline, engine oil, and drifting exhaust. The gas station at 5716 North Freeway looks like any other fluorescent lights buzzing above the pumps, cars pulling in and out, people moving with the casual rhythm of a regular afternoon. Nothing about the moment indicates that the next few minutes will spiral into a life or death struggle. Inside a Houston Police Department patrol car, the radio crackles alive with a dispatch call. The tone is steady, routine, almost casual. Units respond to a trespassing call. 2 males refusing to leave the property. No mention of weapons, no mention of danger. Just a standard complaint, one among dozens that officers respond to every week. For officers on shift, calls like this are expected. They require patience, clear communication, and a willingness to de-escalate. Most end with nothing more than a warning. Often, the hardest part is simply convincing someone to move along. As the patrol car pulls into the lot, the atmosphere remains calm. Gas pumps beep softly. Car doors shut. A family loads bags into their trunk. Yet the officers feel a subtle change as they step out of their vehicle. It's not fear, it's awareness. It's the instinct that comes from years of responding to calls where the simplest situation can turn unexpectedly dangerous. The 2 males are exactly where dispatch said they would be, lingering near the edge of the property. One looks relaxed, hands at his sides, posture open. The other stands differently, not aggressively, but uneasily. His weight shifts from foot to foot. His hands fidget near his waistband. His eyes move too fast, scanning the area, glancing at the officers, then away again. The officers hold the suspect firmly, their commands sharpen but remain controlled. Don't move. Keep your hands where we can see them. Stay still. But the suspect's breathing quickens. His eyes widen. Something flashes across his face: fear, desperation, determination. And with one sudden violent motion, he pushes away from the officers. And what was routine becomes critical. The next few seconds unfold with brutal speed. The suspect twists violently, trying to pull his torso away from the officer's grip. The sound of shoes scuffing against pavement cuts through the air as they try to restrain him. His body jerks like a coiled spring, releasing its tension all at once. The officers tighten their hold, but the suspect fights with unexpected strength. His shoulders hunch forward, his elbow tucks inward, and his hand moves dangerously close to the waistband toward the pistol they just discovered. Every officer on scene recognizes what that movement means. There is no doubt, no misinterpretation, no confusion. A suspect reaching for a concealed firearm during an arrest is one of the most dangerous moments an officer can face. They shout loud, clear, unmistakable commands. Stop. Don't reach for it. Keep your hands away from the gun. But he keeps moving. The officers separate the 2 men, speaking to them individually. The first male cooperates immediately. His voice is calm, steady. When asked to provide identification, he does so without hesitation. His record comes back clean. No warrants, no violations. A simple warning is issued, and he leaves without argument, just a nod of acknowledgement as he walks down the sidewalk and disappears from the frame. The second male provides his name, but the moment the officers run his information, the radio confirms what his restless body language had already suggested. Active warrants. The officers do not raise their voices. They do not draw their weapons. They simply shift their posture one step closer. Another adjusts to the suspect's side. A third watches his hands carefully. Every movement is calm, practiced, and deliberate. They inform the suspect that he is going to be detained. Procedure begins exactly as it should. Controlled tones, minimal force, slow motions, meant to prevent panic. But as soon as an officer begins a standard search, everything changes. Under the suspect's shirt, concealed in his waistband, the officer feels something heavy, solid, metallic. There is no mistaking the shape. A pistol. The officer freezes for a fraction of a second, not out of fear, but precision. His brain processes the danger in an instant. The other officers react immediately to the tension in his voice as he announces the discovery. Everything tightens. Everything shifts. The atmosphere in the gas station transforms from routine to potentially lethal. The danger may be neutralized, but the urgency is not over. Officers call for medical assistance immediately, their voices suddenly shifting from force to care. Get EMS. Start aid. He's down. Help him now. They drop to their knees beside him. Hands that were gripping tightly just moments ago now apply medical pressure, offer stabilization, and provide support. The officers talk to him, trying to keep him conscious, trying to do what they can, as each passing second feels heavier. The crowd that had ignored the scene moments earlier now watches in stunned silence. The gas station hum fades away, replaced by the controlled but urgent voices of officers rendering aid. Minutes feel like hours until paramedics arrive, racing into the scene with equipment and urgency. They take over quickly, preparing the suspect for transport, performing every measure they can. The officers stand back, breathing hard, sweat rolling down their foreheads, adrenaline still burning through their veins. They know what just happened. They know what almost happened. And they know how close everyone came to a different kind of tragedy. But the suspect is loaded into the ambulance and taken away. His fate is no longer in their hands. When the ambulance pulls away, sirens fading into the distance, the gas station becomes a strangely quiet place. The air feels heavier, as though the heat itself is holding on to the memory of what happened. Officers stand together, their breathing still uneven, sweat visible on their uniforms, the emotional weight settling slowly. Despite their efforts and the paramedics' attempts to save him, the suspect is pronounced deceased at the hospital. The official update reaches the officers one by one, each receiving the news with the same quiet stillness. There is no satisfaction, no relief. Adrenaline floods the scene. The officers try to pin his arms. One grabs his wrist. Another tries to wrap their arm around his torso. But the suspect's movements are frantic and unpredictable. He twists, drops his weight forward, then back. Anything to free an arm long enough to reach that weapon. Every fraction of a second has consequences now. If he gets a hand on the gun, the situation can escalate to catastrophic levels instantly. The officers are not reacting out of panic. They are reacting out of necessity. Training takes over. Their minds calculate angles, distance, risk. Their hands grip tight, trying to stop the suspect from turning a tense encounter into a deadly one. The struggle becomes a vicious tangle of limbs and shouts. Fingers claw near the waistband. The officers see his hand dip again, closer this time. The fabric of his shirt shifting, revealing just the outline of the pistol beneath. One officer uses his shoulder to hold the suspect upright, Another tries to push his arm away. Another steps slightly back, trying to maintain enough space to react if the suspect manages to pull the gun free. Commands continue. Don't do it. Stop reaching. Hands up. But the suspect does not listen. He continues to fight. In a split-second motion, he lunges again, harder, faster, and they know that the line between life and death was thinner than anyone around them realized. When the sun begins to lower over Houston, casting long shadows across the freeway, the scene at the gas station finally clears. Patrol cars drive away. Investigators pack up equipment. Tape is taken down. The last officer leaves the parking lot, but the impact of the encounter remains. For those officers, the memory is not one of triumph or closure. It is a reminder that even a routine trespassing call can transform into a life-threatening confrontation. It is a reminder of how quickly danger can emerge, not with a dramatic reveal, not with a warning, but with the subtle shift of a person's weight, a quick movement of the hands, or a sudden reach toward a hidden weapon. The officers involved carry a heavy truth. They were confronted with a suspect who had a pistol within arm's reach, a suspect who pushed away during his arrest, a suspect who reached for the firearm multiple times, a suspect who forced a situation that demanded a rapid, decisive response. In policing, hesitation can mean fatality. A second too slow can end a life, not the suspects, but an officer's, a civilian's, or even a child standing feet away. This case is one more example of the constant unpredictability of law enforcement. People imagine gunfights, dramatic chases, cinematic showdowns, but the reality is far simpler and far more dangerous. Most deadly encounters begin exactly like this one, quietly. No raised voices, no threats, just a concealed weapon and a bad decision. When a suspect reaches for a gun, officers must choose in a fraction of a heartbeat whether they or the people around them live or die. That is not an exaggeration. It is the truth officers train for, brace for, and ultimately face on the streets every day.